September was such a good reading month. I read 9 books in the month of September. Let's get into my reading wrap up. All right, first book of the month was Crossed by Emily McIntyre. So Emily McIntyre writes kind of like dark romance, twisted versions of like the old Disney tales. So this book, Crossed, was the twisted version of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. So it's like this guy, he moves into this town. He's supposed to be a priest, but he is the most depraved human being on this entire earth. Like, he ends up coming into town. He's killing people, all while being a part of this priesthood because he has this like inner demon, inner monster in him that just make him want to kill everybody. And then of course there's a lot of spice along the way. My only issue is if there's gonna be spice, I need there to be a slow burn. Like if we doing a do by like page 50, y'all ain't really got a connection like that. Y'all ain't said nothing but hi, hello, how are you? We gotta build up to that, right? Because that makes it so much better. But only critique. The second book of the month was Incendiary. When I tell you this book that pissed me off so many times, it's the way I DNF'd this book about 2 to 3 times. The plots did not start until like page 206. Like I was stuck in the exposition phase where like things were happening, but they weren't things that were happening to like drive the plot. So it kind of just feels like you're running to nowhere. The crazy thing is, it's something that I would like. It's a world in which people have powers, but these people with powers have been ostracized and cast off in society and people are actively hunting them down. That sounds right up my alley, right? Once I got to the last like 100 pages, once the plot actually got jumping, we was in there. But them first 26 pages pissed me clear the fuck off. Like if I had not had the tenacity to say, you know what? I ain't no bitch. Let me finish this shit. It would have never gotten finished. On a much higher note, Sing Me to Sleep, book number 3 by Gabby Burton. I rocks with this one heavy. One thing I'm learning about myself is that I love a book and a main character 10 times more if the main character is morally gray. I cannot stand the main characters who be so self-righteous and so like, I gotta do everything by the book. If you don't go protect yourself and do what you want to do, please do that. This main character, Cersei, don't mind me if I say her name right. If you saw how this name was spelled, it's a little different, okay? But anyway, she's a siren. So her whole job is like assassinating people by luring them in with her siren song. I love that for her. But she is a siren and all of her people have been like eradicated by the Fae. Until she gets drafted into the Prince's Guard. Granted, the Prince is Fae. So he's public enemy number 1 for her. And she gotta play nice. Whole time, the Prince done fell in love with her. And I'm gonna say this. If your man don't come like Prince Hayes, throw the nigga away. Because Prince Hayes says, I know you killed my best friend. I know you want to kill my folks. And I would still burn the world for you. If he's not coming with that energy, throw him away. Fourth book of the month was The Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter. Y'all know how much I love The Rage of Dragons. Easily one of my like top 5 reads of the year. I was so nervous to pick this up because sometimes sequels do not hit the same as the original. But when I tell you Evan did it again, when I tell you Tao is like the most perfect main character. Again, it's those morally gray main characters. Tao will literally go and kill off an entire town. And I'm rooting for Buddy every single time. I don't care who he's trying to kill. Like, Tao, do your big one. Like, sequel lives up to the hype of the first. Pet was book number 5. This was such a good read. I can't even say fun. I don't know if I would call this book fun. This follows a young girl, a trans girl at that, and I love the representation, who is in a town where they have eradicated all monsters. So not like literal monsters, but people who do like really heinous things. Like, you know, they be killing and R-word and all that kind of stuff. So they've eradicated all the monsters until her mother would paint a picture of an angel that comes to life. And now he's there trying to help eradicate a monster. And everybody's like, but ain't no monsters left in this town. He's like, oh, so you thought. They go on this journey, like a monster hunting journey throughout this book. And it really redefines what it means to be a monster, what it means to be an angel, and how things are literally never as they seem. Like, quick read, literally no exposition. Jumps you straight into the story. And I love that. I love that after reading some exposition heavy books. So books 6 and 7. If you've been watching my stories, you know Rick Warden had put out Percy Jackson and the Chalice of the Gods. So you know I had to get back to like 11, 12-year-old Alyssa and reread the series. Reading these books, even like, 13 years later, 12 years later, they are still just as fun and magical as the first. Like, I understand why 5th and 6th grade me fell in love with this series so hard. Like, definitely going to be reading all of the rest of the Olympians and the Heroes of Olympus. Like, any book Percy Jackson's in, I'm rereading it. So that way I'm like clued in and ready to go for Chalice of the Gods. Book number 8 was House of Marionne by JL. If you saw my vlog I posted like a few weeks back, you saw that I went to Atlanta to actually go like meet her and Tara J. Benton Walker, the author of Blood Debts, on her tour for House of Marionne. I'm not a big dark academia person. The only other dark academia book I've read has been Ace of Spades, but I so appreciated this one. So House of Marionne follows a like 17-year-old girl named Quell who has dark magic, and she's been on the run her entire life because people were literally hunting her down because of this dark magic. So one day she gets swept up into this like debutante Bridgerton society. Turns out that she's actually like the heiress of like all of this is supposed to be hers one day. So she goes through this journey of like having to assimilate, having to like confine her powers in order to be what is light and pure within their magical world. Until one day, homegirl, Quell, she said, you know what? I'm not fitting into this society no more. I'm gonna make y'all fit me. Like what the cover say? If this world is made of glass, then I will dance with a hammer in my hand. That's Quell in a sentence. Like my one and only qualm with this book, I really love when people are learning a system for the first time, like within the book. I really love like the training arc. Like I love being able to see the progression and growth of powers. And this could have used a bit more of that for me. She kind of worked on her magic for a couple weeks, and then after that, it was like done. Other than that though, I thought this was a pretty solid read. Finally, book number 9, The Year of the Freaking Witching by Alexis Henderson. Let me tell you about this one right here. So y'all know I read mostly fantasy, and since we're transitioning into spooky season, I literally finished this book on September 30th. I was like, I need a black horror book. When I tell you Alexis delivered. So this book follows Emmanuel, who's in what I would describe as a Children of Corn, Midsommar type of like society, Amish little society. So they live on like the edge of this dark wood, which is like, don't go there. No, no, no. It's like the Forbidden Forest in Harry Potter. If you go in there, you running into a demon, you will never come back the same if you come back at all. And what does Emmanuel do? She runs into the forest. We knew that was going to happen, right? She goes into the forest. She literally meets every single witch possible. Lilith, Delilah, Mercy, Jael, all of them hoes. Lo and behold, Emmanuel, who doesn't know this, is the descendant of witches. And them witches that she met in the woods, Lilith literally used her to start plagues in her town. My same issue with this book though is the same issue that I had with House of Marionne. I wanted there to be so much more of the training phase. If we gonna tell her she's a witch, cool, great. I love that for her. But can we see her actually practicing a spell before we get to the climax? Can we see her like coming into her power before she reaches the climax? And even once we get to the climax, I want to be able to like visually see the manifestation of her powers. So those were the 9 books that I read in the month of September. Since it's October now, we finna get into the dark, the macabre, the scary, the sci-fi, the psychological thrillers. I'm trying to be up at night, waking up out my sleep screaming because of the imagination that is going at the end of the night. Let me know if you have any recommendations for me when it comes to spooky season. And let me know if you read any of these books and what you think. Make sure you read some magical shit. Deuces and peace out. Bye.